Hey there, this is Peter, and I want to share my thoughts on the split timeline thing with you. Now, I don't really like the whole Zelda split timeline theory. I know that it is kind of official now, but I don't like it because of what I found to be two major flaws with it. The first one is it has already been pointed out by True Edge 297. Well, the split timeline assumes that the Wind Waker and Majora's Mask did not take place in the same timeline, but in the Wind Waker there is something that the Red Lion's King says, and he describes why the Hero of Time did not return to save Hyrule, and that pretty much sounded like the events of Majora's Mask.
Well, here, at this particular point that I'm mentioning, the King of Red Lions says that the Hero of Time did not appear because he was away on another adventure. Well, the straightforward interpretation of that is that he was away in Termina, the events of Majora's Mask.
So, the first problem is that if they took place in different timelines, of course the Red Lion's King could not have known anything about the events in Termina, and could of course not have referred to that. The second problem is that if they took place in different timelines, the world in the Wind Waker timeline would have been destroyed by the moon in Termina a long time before the events in Wind Waker, so that doesn't make any sense at all. The second major flaw is the Ocarina of Time itself. You know, if you look at the game Ocarina of Time, at the beginning of the game, when Link starts his quest, the Ocarina of Time is possessed by Princess Zelda. So, when Link returns to the castle with all three spiritual stones, Zelda flees from Ganondorf and throws the Ocarina of Time over to Link. Link then learns the Song of Time and uses it to open the Door of Time. When Link draws out the Master Sword, he takes the Ocarina of Time with him into the future, which means that, as well as Link, the Ocarina of Time disappears from Hyrule for 7 years. In the future, Link continues his quest and finally confronts Ganondorf. He eventually defeats him and meets up with Zelda again. Then, adult Link gives the Ocarina of Time back to adult Zelda. Zelda then uses the Ocarina of Time and her Sage's powers to send Link back into the past. So the problem is now that, as we see in this ending sequence, Link arrives at the time when the Door of Time has already been opened, which means that young Zelda cannot have the Ocarina of Time anymore because she gave it to Link at this time already. But Link does not have the Ocarina of Time either, because he left it in the future, which means that in this timeline the Ocarina of Time does not exist anymore. But we know that it does, because in Majora's Mask we see that Link has the Ocarina, and we even see a sequence where we are shown how he received it from Zelda before he left Hyrule. So that's a bit of a problem, right? What I think happened is there's a linear timeline, and you know, when Link defeated Ganon in the future, he could actually also have just brought the sword back to the Temple of Time and traveled to the past like that. But he did not. For some reason, he gave the Ocarina to Zelda and needed her to send him back. Now, I found an explanation for this. Because if Link traveled back to the past the way he used to with the Master Sword, he would have arrived in a past where Zelda would be missing and Gandalf would still be at large. So I think Zelda, as a sage, had the powers to not only send Link back to the past with the Ocarina, but also merge the whole saved world with restored peace in the future into the past world 7 years ago. So I think when Link arrives back in the past, that there is no more Ganondorf because he's been defeated by Link, and when he meets Zelda in the castle, I think that's the same Zelda that just sent him back to the past. So I think, that it's all a kind of magic thing, and that's the reason he needs Zelda to send him back and cannot travel back to the past by himself, because that would not solve the problems of the past. But if Zelda uses the Ocarina and her Sage's powers, she's able to send Link back and restore peace to the past world as well. So, okay, it may not make too much sense, but that's what I think happened. So, if you want to let me know what you think about this, feel free to comment on it, to respond to it. I really appreciate that, and I hope that you can provide some more interesting ideas to this whole discussion. So I hope you enjoyed it and have a nice day.